addicted to, and what did this world do to you? What will it take to get you through, and how long has this had a hold on you?
Hello, good day. Here we are in another episode of Addicted2, and I got my good buddy Dar here.
How you doing? I'm doing well, sir.
Right on.
I'm glad you had me.
Well, yeah, it's. I've been looking forward to this one. Every show is a good one, but this one's going to be a
You figure, eh?
Yeah. No, I really always wanted to, because you're always interesting to talk to. I know you've always got a story to tell, and, I just wanted to get it down there for other people to hear, right?
And what the most part is some of it's pretty nasty, you know?
Well, I mean, we all have a nasty story. But, I mean, I met you doing the 12-step thing. And then it took a while. And then, I can't picture your life on the street. But you were on the street for a long time.
Well, I was only on the street for a couple of years.
Well, okay.
But that was just, that was after my addiction was just carrying on so much that that's where I ended up. And I thought that's where I had to be. With everything that I'd done, with all the wrecking of houses and the wrecking of everything that I'd done, and to everyone that I'd known, and mom, the family, the wife, the kids, the job, the truck, everything gone. When I was on the street, that was time to be on the street.
That's how it came to be.
Yeah. And you know what? Even when I was on the street, I think I had some places that I could still go. If I would have called, they would have let me stay on the couch or some darn thing like that. But I was just there. And when I got there, that's where I thought I should be. So for my entire time, I was a follower. When the kids did this, I did this. When the kids did that, I did that. And it went on almost till 5 years ago. 5 years is my 10 years of sobriety or being clean or whatever. But the whole reason I was clean is because my mom asked me to. And that was the only reason. I thought it was my mom all the time. But the way that they say it, God walks, talks, and shakes hands in all of our rooms of AA, CA, NA, all that we go to. So then I knew that it was God that was telling me what to do. And I knew that there was a God because I did enough things that were not very intelligent, and I was trying to take my life for the most part. But
Really?
Well, doing 130 down into the Canmore, or not Canmore, what's that? Cochrane? Is that Cochrane? Down by there? Yeah. Doing that down the hill, coming off the motorbike, going off the motorbike, over top of the ditches down there into the other side of the hill, coming out, just spending a couple months in the hospital. Didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Got free food. Got to eat.
So,
steady.
Just to go back a little bit, I mean, I know that you've shared you were addicted at a very, very young age.
Yes.
And so, but you had a wife, the house, the truck. Like you had your. I know you've got two sons.
Yeah, I got two sons.
So you did the family thing.
The craziest thing about it is I was still drinking every day, and she was paying for it every day. And she put up with me for 12 years and 2 kids worth. She would pay for everything. We'd go to England every month for 12 years.
Every month?
A month. A year a month. It was a month a year. We'd go over there. We would use London as a home base, and then we would go out traveling all through Europe from London, from the White Cliffs of Dover to Calais and all special places like that. And When it was
Said,
finally,
you were telling me when we were in the truck there that you were saying that as soon as you landed, you had a drink in your hand.
I was drinking constantly. I was drinking like a fish before we left. And because I had a massage studio beside my house. And so I would be up there saying that I was busy, drinking like a fish. Just minutes before we jumped in the car, off to the airport, 8 hours to England, kids throwing up every place. I had nothing to do with them. The wife had to handle everything because I was drinking on the plane too. I'd be drinking on the plane as soon as we hit the very first place I was going to because they, over in the UK, they could sell that out of convenience stores and everything. And at the time, they weren't allowed to do that here. We had our LCB and shit like that here. So there was no selling wine or any of those coolers or anything out of the store. It was strictly government granted. Strictly government granted.
So
You can get anything from, you know how many late night clubs, opium dens, crack houses, doing all those places downtown? There are thousands of them. Thousands, and underground in downtown Calgary is just, it's a pretty busy place.
Well, see, that's a life I've never known, thank God. Thank God I don't know it. But, I mean, so all that stuff exists.
It definitely exists.
And that's what...
And
so
it doesn't just exist here. It's in every city.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine last night, and especially after COVID and whatnot, but even before. I mean, let's face it, there's a taste of Vancouver everywhere now, basically.
The only reason places like Vancouver and wherever the hell, New York, those places are all busy because they're got an ocean front to them. You look at Alberta, you look at places that are all landlocked. We have just as much of all that shit here. We have got more alcohol. We've got more whichever that they're building. And that's why Trump's pissed at us, because we get the F stuff on the waterways here in Canada.
Well, of course.
And then it gets pushed right to there.
Yeah.
So, you got nothing to see. If you want to, Trump's going to, I think he's an idiot, but when you start comparing Mexico to Canada, that's only in stuff that comes across his border that he's hearing an earful from everybody else too. The drugs that are coming in, they got to stop. Even our own government, we know we got to stop the drugs. And so they're starting to build up on that too.
No, I know, but I mean, okay, so just to back up a little bit here though. So you had the family life. Obviously, you had a pretty good life if you could afford to go to England for a month.
She paid for everything.
But I mean,
everything.
You guys were fairly.
I wasn't working. I was doing massage therapy out of my house. I wasn't making a lot of money.
Your trade.
It was for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
It was for 25 years. And she put me through school for that.
But I'm just
back
saying,
earlier.
So you did well.
I was doing well. I was drinking and drugging, and I was lying to everyone. And it worked out perfect for me.
And then somehow all of that fell apart. As everything,
it had fallen apart a long time ago.
Yeah, well, all of our lives do, because we drive it to the ground because we don't want to deal with anything.
When my ex let me into her life, I did nothing but cause her damage. She had 2 kids. That was the only good thing she got out of our marriage. She didn't get anything out of getting a house, beautiful yard, beautiful whatever. Nothing. Because I was out drinking all the time.
So then when all of that ended, then Is that when
Then I was sleeping downtown.
That's when you started to spiral, like, pretty much out of control.
Well, sleeping downtown, I was, because downtown, I knew downtown really well. I was brought up in Dick Park, so downtown was always part of my life. Where we're living now, I used to come hunting out here. It's just so far from where I was. There was 300,000 people in Calgary when I was a kid, and there was nowhere near this near 2 million that we have now. And that, cut off certain parts. Mindapore's out of town, Ogden's out of town, Bowness out of town, and all these places are places you go for a day trip. And it was, literally, Chestermere was like, if you're going to go out there for Saturday, Sunday, that was Chestermere. And now it's just like a hop and a skip, and it's right there, right? It's almost, I think is it part of Calgary? It's nearly bloody part of Calgary.
Well, I mean, it's all surrounding areas now. Airdrie, Chestermere, Okotoks.
Because I think out here is probably, from out here to say Rocky Ridge, is probably it's farther than it is to Strathmore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was all field. But so you started hanging around downtown, and was that because you knew? Was just because it was familiar? Or did you know people? Or I would imagine.
Yeah, I knew people. You're just using, right?
Yeah. So
you're using this person, or you use from this person, or you use from this person.
And you. Were you comfortable with that?
Always. The thing was, Sean, I didn't care. I didn't care about my family. I didn't care about whatever job I had. I didn't care about my kids or anything. I would have sold them. If I had the opportunity, I literally would have sold them. It was just, I needed the drugs more than I needed the kids. And I needed the drugs more than I needed my wife. More than my truck, more than my job, more than anything. And it was just, I got it.
It just had a hold on you.
And like I just told you before we started this, I had no money. And I was never without drugs or alcohol, ever. If you needed money, what do? You walk past a shop and you just break in and get it. There's no thought that, this is somebody else's stuff, so I should maybe stop doing that. Like that. You just go and get it.
So it's really kind of a Wild West attitude then. You're living, I could imagine if I put myself in your point, if you're in your mindset, and I almost can, it's kind of an F you, I'm going to do whatever I want. If that's what it takes to get that's what I'm going to do.
I told Liz this last night.
The hell with there's not many repercussions.
If you were a major corporation or a major something, and you told me, this is black here, and you show me a bit, this is black, I'll go fuck yourself, that's white. And that was the way I was for everything. I would just, I don't know if it was being young and stupid, but I think maybe just stupid and heavily into drugs.
No, I don't.
But
I don't buy that. I think it had a hold on you because it
definitely had a hold on me, and I could not see it. But I was one of those guys. I never passed out, and I never blanked out or blacked out or whatever. I was always like going. I had to get them. I had to get more every day. When the party was over, I was going through those bottles, sifting whatever through my teeth, because I want that everything was gone by the time I left. There was never anything. There was nothing in the morning to say, hair of the dog or whatever. You either had to have something new, or you better had a whole shitload that night, because I'm damn sure I would have gone through it if I knew where it was. It was just what I did every darn party. I didn't have a party that I went to just to have fun.
And you know why I can relate to that? Here's something that you don't know about me. I'm 59 years old.
Oh, you're old.
Huh? Yeah, I'm old. But I I left home at a early age, about 16, and I was working, doing dishes in this bar and working in this, living in this one room and all this. And then I said, the hell with this. I wanted to go to California. So I did. I had enough money that I left. I flew from Toronto to Vancouver, and then a friend of mine's aunt dropped us off on basically at the border or across the border. I hitchhiked down through California, Mexico, stuff like that. I mean, my parents sent a little bit of money here and there, but a lot of times I had a duffel bag and didn't have 5 cents to rub together. So I can relate to what it's like. Like, I'd bang on the back of a KFC and, hey, you got anything left at the end of that? Oh, we're on the road, and you can make it by. And there is a lot of freedom to it. I mean, I still have, and I jumped on a freight train, and a lot of people probably won't understand that, but there is a romance to it. And when you don't have money, there's nowhere to go but up. Anyway, so
That's right.
You basically have nothing to lose. So I can kind of see that a lot of people would think, well, oh my God, living on the street. Well, it's not glamorous, but I can tell you.
That's right. I was my own boss. Nobody was telling me what the heck to do.
Yeah,
or
like
anything.
and so that you can really get at your addiction. And a lot of people would say, a lot of people feel sorry, but actually there is a lot of a freedom to it without the addiction portion. When I was on the road, I didn't have a lot of access to. I mean, there was some people we met along the way, deadheads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Got, did acid along the coastal highway, and it was wicked because, I mean, you had nowhere to be, so being stoned for 8 hours was, and you were really quite content.
See, me and Dan, we had no coastal highway. We didn't have anything close to the coast. We had whatever drugs came into town, and there was lots of it. Whatever the hell you wanted, it was here. And because I managed my whole addiction without having to do any needles. I still smoked whatever, heroin, opium, whatever the heck that I had to. Crack was big. I didn't do meth because I think that was a little later on, or fentanyl.
Yeah.
I think those were, because they were still using those. My mother was in the hospital with cancer, and they were still using fentanyl as a pain relief. It hadn't become quite the recreational drug that it was, or that it became anyway. So, but then I'd go to I went to two treatment centers in my entire life. The one that I went to first was, they called it South Country, and it was out in Lethbridge, and it's now Fresh Start. But I went to that one for 29 days, and I came back here to Calgary, and my mom had lost. She was 90 pounds. And when I left and when I came back, she'd lost 34 pounds of that 90 pounds. And that just killed me. So I was right back to drinking and everything again for that very day.
What was the catalyst to even get you to go to Fresh Start? That
was my mom. That was my mom on a cancer bed.
And then did she ask you to get cleaned up?
Yes.
And then
that was the entire reason. She was, as far as I was concerned, she was the only person that ever loved me in my life. That was the only reason. I had dreams of, my mom and dad never drank. My dad was just nasty. But I can't put my dad down because I had not a clue what he went through when he was a young guy, and the way that we were grown. I grew up in this, started in the 60s, man. And shit was way, way different in the 60s. It was just like, that was the way it kind of was for what he'd ever learned. And the only time I ever met my grandfather, when he pulled up to our house, we lived in Calgary and we transferred out there for my dad's job. He was a traveling salesman for a leather company. We traveled out there, and for the entire time that this was happening, we would have dreams about my dad trying to beat us kids and mom standing outside a closet in the bedroom in a house that my grandmother and everybody else lived in. And because, like I told you before, we were in the road right close to Stampede, so all the family that I had were on the rodeo and around the rodeo, and everybody drank.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody drank.
60s, 70s? Come on.
Yeah, man. Everybody drank.
We grew up with that.
You know what? I had a girlfriend down the street, and I'd seen her now recently back. She knew me when I was like 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. She thought it was normal to be chained up to a clothesline in the backyard of her house in Vic Park. And I'm going,
chained up?
What? How can you think that's normal? And that's the way her dad was. It's just the way the shit was, man. The things that we grew up with, it was so different. Like, we were friends with the kids across the street. You know, I thought she was going to be my wife and her brothers and stuff. And they were heavily into drugs and stuff like that, too. And we were close to them. The next thing we know, Jimmy, he's tied a piano wire around his fucking neck. He's 16 years old, probably about 16, yeah. And like, so now there's a huge funeral. And we're all just coming to his house and we're not even realizing what happened. We just know that there's been a death. And these kids, he and his brother Michael used to run around the yards throwing hammers at each other. Like literally throwing hammers at each other. They'd have 5 or 6 hammers. One brother's running, the other brother back behind him, firing these hammers at him. And they were hitting the playhouse that we'd be in, and just busting pieces of the playhouse out. And we didn't think nothing was wrong with that.
Wow.
We didn't think anything was wrong with
my
that.
upbringing at all. I mean, there was alcoholism, but nothing.
But that was just playing.
Really?
We had a big rock fight with all these kids. There's like in Victoria Park back when I was that age, there was kids from Africa, Croatia, Serbia, Italy, Lebanon, Chile, and they had all come. Those guys had all come, and they lived in that area. That was a melting pot of Calgary down there. These kids had parents that worked at corner stores. They were Italians. They had little upstairs with the Bulgarians. It was just a melting pot. I'm up in we're playing with the kids. I climbed up on a roof of a little shed. And I'm picking crab apples off the thing down there. I get shot in the ass with rock salt. Just picking apples off the tree. That's what the old lady had rock salt gun. The cops came, they checked her place out for a day and they couldn't find the gun. So that's,
wow.
And we were just, those little buggers are doing this again. And
that sounds insane.
We'd have fights with we're little happy kids. So then you get the full breed Indians and we'd be on the hill, Scotchman's Hill. And we'd be firing pellets, BBs and everything in there trying to cross the river in inner tubes and stuff. And we're just taking these guys out with these kind of weapons. And we think there's nothing wrong with it.
Wow.
Nothing.
I never experienced anything like that.
Nothing. Down in Vic Park,
so
there was like when I was 5 years old.
A lot rougher than I ever did.
But we didn't
think in Ontario.
We didn't think nothing wrong with it, man. Well, when I was 5, we had a flood down there. The bow had pulled over, so I was 5, and the water was near up to my chin. So there was no saddle dome or anything at that time. So it devastated the stampede grounds where it was laying right now and how everything was. And the porches and everything, the water was right up to the porch, the top of the porches in that entire area down there. And so we walked around, played in it.
Until the water subsided.
Then we had all to do, and so we started sneaking back in the stampede.
Huh.
Yeah, we knew all the ways to sneak into the stampede.
Oh.
Over by the river, and different things. We had, you hang out in groups as kids. So there's 5 or 6 of us that would hang around together. And there was a little girlfriend of ours. Her name was Georgina. I can't remember her last name. And she was we'd been playing with her the day before, and she was out. Her mom had said that she was out playing when we went to call on her. So we were down walking by the river, and we come across in a big tree. She had been raped and tied to a tree with a skipping rope.
No way.
Yeah, down in there. And we looked at it. We kind of laughed. We didn't know how to feel. We'd never seen somebody dead before, right? And it didn't faze us that she'd been raped or she'd been violated in any way. She was just gone. Yeah, and that's the way we all felt. She was just gone.
Like, that's heavy shit, man. That's heavy shit.
But we didn't think about it. That's what I try to tell, even in the rooms of AA, NA, everything that I go into. It was not a matter of caring. It's a matter of something happened, then you did. My grandmother fed me when she fed me liquor when I was 3, and it wasn't because she didn't love me. It was just, she would tell me, she was part Indian, so she would tell me a story. And for the longest time, I thought I'd be Métis through my grandma's, but turns out that it had to come from a different party that we had to prove we were Indians. But the whole time down there, you never thought anything was different. Graham would let all these people into our house, comes a stampede, whatever. There'd be people staying in our place, laying on the floors, sleeping in front of the heater. I'd sleep in front of the heater too, but it didn't get too close because it burned my ass. That was the thing, right? The heater was like huge, but the height of our house. And that's how we'd stay warm, is we'd sit out by that darn heater. And that's the way it was.
So you basically were primed for living outside. You didn't think nothing of it.
No, didn't.
So it's not a shock.
No.
And then, so I just wanted to get back to the part. So your mom gets sick. How did you even know she was sick? If you're on the street, I'm guessing by then you didn't have any cell phone.
By then, I had pretty well come off the street because this is in 2015.
Oh, you did?
I'd come off the street about a month before that. And so I'd seen my mom and I knew why she was in.
So you were starting to try to get it together?
Not getting it together. Fuck that.
No. But you had a place, or you were staying with?
I had a place out in Strathmore that I'd let go. And so I went back there and I stayed there for a month.
And then you started making contact with
then I started making contact with Fresh Start. And I had to contact those fuckers every day for 6 months. 4 months to get in.
Your mom.
She reached out to me. She's in a bed. She's in a, what do they call that? Not conveyance.
Hospice?
Yeah, she was in a hospice and she was passing, right? End of life. So she's in there and she's speaking and all this kind of stuff. So that's when she was saying, please stop.
And that must have been like, did you feel that must have got through to you somewhat?
Yeah, so that was the whole reason why I got sober.
That was the whole thing.
That was the whole reason. And I thought for the longest time until, like, it's been near 10 years that I've been sober. And then up until like 6-7 years before I did not feel that way anymore. It's like when I hear in the rooms, all these people go, oh, Jesus, I was 2 years to come back. I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm 10 years clean and I'm still fucking thinking, did you hear that girl tonight that when she was talking, I just came, that's okay, but she was saying she just came into sobriety. And I was like, well, I was being sober, but I still hadn't decided to go to wherever to get sober. But my mom's saying, you gotta get sober for me, honey. You gotta stop doing this anymore. You gotta just clean up for your kids. Just do whatever, right? She was trying to find any reason that she could to get me to stop. But, that whole time, that's why I heard. God talks and, shakes hands and talks in the rooms of AA. And that's what he did. He helped me because, like I said, in the rooms there, now when I never used to pray and meditate. And the only reason I changed is because I was in so much pain that I had to change doing something else. I was at a point where I was seeing things. I was yelling at the kids next door for partying. I was like, you're killing me. And then I'm going out there. It's 2 a.m. I'm yelling at them for a party, going outside. There's nobody outside. But I'm hearing that he's partying out there. So it's like, I got to get this. I got to take care of this. I got to do something. And that's when I started going to Colin Fresh Start. And there was a beautiful woman in there. Her name was Colin. Started with C. Yeah. And she was a sweetheart that I just thought she cared about us so much that there was no person in the planet that it could happen to. And she cared enough to get us finally in there. So.
Wow. Okay, well, we're out of time.
Well, thank you, sir.
We're going to get you to come back and then...
Not come back.
Come back on the note.
There's not even any food here.
We're going to get... Sorry, it was a little bit rushed, but we'll look after, we'll get a snack.
Thanks a lot, brother.
And we'll get back and we will continue this conversation.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Take care.